What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie, and today I'm going to give a brief, spoiler-free review of the book Abandoned by Liz Ann Harris. So I don't have a physical copy of this book yet. It was sent to me by the author. She emailed me the art. So Mrs. Harris, who is the author of Abandoned, she emailed me and gave me the blurb on the book to see if it would be something I would be interested in. And it 100% was. And so then she sent me the ARC in a PDF format. So I don't have the physical copy. I do plan to get my hands on one because when I read a book that I enjoy, and especially, I did give it 4 stars on Goodreads. So 4 stars means I want that book in my collection because it's one that I'm going to want to reread again. It means something special to me. There's a lot of times that I may have a book that I may give 3 or 4 stars to, and then a year or so later, or even more, I will reread that book. You know, depending on where you are in life when you read a book, can 100% have a bearing on your thoughts about it. So there have been several times that I've read a book and maybe I liked it, I didn't love it. I go back a couple years later or more and read it again, and I'm in a different place in life and the book means something different. Or I'm just in a different headspace and I catch things the second time that I didn't the first time, and so I end up liking it more. But I really enjoyed this book. It is a fast read. It was about, I want to say, 269 pages. I read it in 2 sittings. Totally could have been 1, but for some reason I started it late one night and I read about half of it and then ended up finishing it the next day. It does have a copyright of 2018. It is listed as book 1 of a series. I have not researched yet to see if more in this series is out, but I do plan to. There's 2 or 3 different ways she could choose to go about continuing this series. So I'm going to be curious to see which one of those it may be, or it may be one that just didn't come to me right off the hand. Okay, so I have my iPad out. I'm going to read you the blurb that the author sent to me, and it can also be found on Goodreads. Isabella feels as empty and forlorn as the buildings she restores. The last living member of the Warner family, she desperately seeks the historic mansion in a sketch found in her granddad's attic. After a long, painful year of mourning his loss due to her negligence, she finally finds the derelict home of her ancestors in the Berkshires of Massachusetts and wins it at an auction. With the vast resources of her renovation business, she sets out to save the haunted, decrepit Chatham Hall. I may be pronouncing that wrong. I mean, it's more than likely that I am. I mean, y'all know. Isabella hopes to find a measure of peace by owning a part of the family history her grandfather desperately wanted to discover, but angry spirits seem to have other ideas. Jack, the owner of a small historic rehabilitation company, has been waiting his whole life to buy Chatham Hall. He's determined to save the house he believes saved him. To survive a childhood of abuse from his father, he made the derelict building his refuge. Dark anger haunts him day and night as he tries to find a new way forward after losing the house to the bossy Isabella Warner. Jack and Isabella put away their instant dislike and distrust to uncover the heinous crimes committed by the evil spirit haunting Chatham Hall. They are drawn closer together as they peel back their shared history until the horrifying truth threatens to tear apart the love and solace they found in each other. Okay. After having read the book, looking at that blurb, I can tell you that that blurb is extremely adequate in describing this story and summarizing this story. I do have as you see, I do have a copy of the cover on the screen. So I'm gonna do what I normally do. I totally do judge books by their covers. Looking at this cover, would I gravitate toward it? Maybe. it does look a little creepy, and I do like scary stories. I especially love paranormal stories. I have been fascinated with the paranormal since I was a kid. My parents they bought a couple, you know how Time used to put out those little hardback books and they would do a series? Well, there was one on paranormal stuff and my parents bought a couple. I was fascinated with those books. I have gone ghost hunting countless times. I have tried to find ghosts all my life. And I used to be really disappointed that I never encountered anything like that. But now that I'm older, I ain't mad, y'all, because the older I get, the more scared of stuff I am. Like, if you have been following my channel for a while, you know that I am still traumatized by The Haunting of Hill House. And I mean, I read that book as a kid. There was a movie a few years back about it. Watched that, no big deal. But man, that Netflix series, it messed me up. I'm just not even gonna try to lie. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. To be honest to you, I was already recommending it before I had even finished it. So, and it just came at the most opportune time right now. As you're aware, the country is basically slowly going on lockdown, and a lot of my friends on Twitter have been looking for something to read that can take their mind off things. And this book is the perfect one for doing it. It's interesting. It is a romance story, but not the kind of romance you're probably thinking. If you're thinking you're wanting, just what I would call a smut book where Harry meets Sally and they jump in the sack, it's not like that at all. I got a lot of respect for it. It's a modern day romance where Isabella promised her grandfather she would save herself for marriage, and she intends fully to do that. I guess with my age, I just really have to respect that. So I did appreciate that. It's not just one of those romances that's just focused 100% on a physical relationship. It is an emotional one, and it is definitely a journey. Both Isabella and Jack have a feeling of abandonment. They both are alone, and the author never really had Isabella and Jack realize in the story that they had some amazing friends in their lives. Both of these characters had just a fantastic network of friends that she never had them come to realize, I'm not alone. I have this core group of people that really matter to me, and they matter to them. So I kept expecting that realization to hit them, and it didn't. Not a big deal at all. But, I kind of related to that because I'm trying to think of a way to explain it without getting too deep. So my parents divorced when I was 5. My dad has had custody of me growing up, and as a result of just the circumstances surrounding how my dad got custody, I was not allowed to have any contact with my birth mother, and so I didn't have any contact with her side of the family from then on. And my dad, his parents had passed. He doesn't have anything to do with his brother. And so basically I relate to Isabella and Jack in that my dad is literally my only blood relative. When he leaves me, that's it. And I've got tons of extended family. I'm one of those people that's super fortunate. I've got a stepmom and stepbrothers. They are my family. And I hope they feel the same. I don't realize that they're not blood relatives. They feel that way to me. There has been times that I thought, my dad's my only blood relative. He's the only person who has to love me unconditionally because I'm carrying his DNA. And so on that level, I related to Isabella and Jack. Now, I have, I'm much older now, and I have come to understand that family does not mean blood. I have an insanely huge family that, man, I am so lucky to have the extended family that I have, and I have some of the most amazing friends. I have a ton of amazing friends. Like, I have the kind of friends that would literally drop any and everything to come to me and help me if I needed them to. And man, that's just a fantastic feeling to know that. So on that end, this story, as mentioned in the blurb, is a journey as they track down their family history to see, if there's any other family of theirs that might remain. When the discoveries are made, it's like I felt like I could celebrate that with them. So another thing that I really enjoyed about this book is the author makes several superhero references. There's a lot of metaphors like Iron Man and Loki and Thor. I mean, it was just super cute and just kind of interspersed here and there. It is written in what I would call today's terms and slang. She meant one of the characters is kind of mentioning about viral YouTube videos. So it is definitely written in our times right now. If you aren't a fan of our modern slang terms now, you might not like it if that's something that turns you off, but it's basically written how we're currently speaking. I almost feel like this author, if I didn't know that I've never met her or knew her, I would swear if I picked this book up that one of my friends had written it. Except that I'm tall and Isabella is very petite, but she's got curly red hair. She loves painting her nails and toenails, so do I. She is described as having a very strong personality. She's just a take charge, her walk is a gait, as a stride that's designed to just take over the world. So as a result, she ends up intimidating a lot of the men that she meets in her life. So she is alone. She has been unsuccessful into entering a relationship with a potential partner. I felt that because I can't tell you how many times I had a guy tell me I intimidated him. And it really used to bother me because in my 20s and in my 20s, that really hurt my feelings that I would be told that. I couldn't see how I was intimidating. I mean, I'm bold, I speak my mind, I like to have fun. But my high school years were spent hanging out with my friends. I was not about the next going from one boyfriend to the next, going to dances, proms, all that. I did none of that, did not care for it. I had a small core group of friends that they satisfied every want I could have for the social aspect. And we were all the time, and we spent so much time together. We had so much fun. I did not feel that I had anything missing in my life by not dating and having a boyfriend and all that. So once I hit my 20s, I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm ready to get in this dating world. And I just had so many guys tell me that I intimidated them. And I didn't know how to be any other way than how I am. I mean, my dad raised me to be able to take care of myself. He told me, I don't know how many times, he said, don't get married until you can support yourself and stand on your own 2 feet in the world first. Because you can't always guarantee that man is going to be there or stay with you. And in the event that happens, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And wise words. wise words. So I did exactly that. I mean, I lived on my own for 8 years before I even got married. Even though guys told me that they found me intimidating, even if I wanted to change who I am, I don't believe I could. I like who I am. And you know, to me, before you can be in a successful relationship, you have to love yourself first. And yeah, sure, it may take a while before you find the one that you're meant to be with, but once you do, what you will realize, the wait is 100% worth it. And you will know like that, because I knew with Chris, I knew. Still had to wait on him to know for sure, but all that matters is we got there. Another thing that Isabella did, there is this one scene in the book where basically ends up falling and hurting herself because she's trying to get an object. She's trying to get an object, and like a spider runs across her hand or something. And y'all, that's so me. That's so me. Those of you watching that know me in real life, likely you know about 20 different occasions where there's a good story involving me and a spider. But yeah, and another little tiny thing about this book that I really liked is the characters were very into recycling. I really appreciated that. Just little stuff like that, I really appreciate, because people who read this book in the future may read about it and decide, you know what, I need to do better. So yeah, loved it. I love that she was promoting recycling to help promote, you know, just a healthier earth. Like she mentioned Elon Musk doing like the Tesla roof, which we've kind of looked at, or we've seen a lot around here. It's so awesome. I loved it. I love these kinds of books. And like I said, I was recommending this book before I had even finished it. The reason why I love it so much, it is a very entertaining story. It is a quick, fast, easy read, and it just gets to the meat of the story. You know, I read enough science fiction fantasy books where you may have 200 to 300 pages of world building before you really get into the story. And while I enjoy those, sometimes I need a book that's just light, that gets straight to the meat of the story without me having to wade through all of that. I'll use them for, you know, if I'm reading a very intricate book, lots of world building, lots of pages, there are sometimes things that happen that I have to stop and pause and process. And the way that or if there's something that makes me angry or sad, I need to take a step back and just kind of let myself recover. I'll pick up a book like Abandoned, because I can get lost in a story like that so quickly. And it just gives me a chance to recover, just take a break, and then because like I said, you can totally sit down and read Abandoned in one sitting if you choose. You know, it's just perfect. It's perfect for right now when our country is so upset and worried, to take your mind off things for a little while. I think it's a story of hope. I think it's a journey. If you've ever made the mistake of waking up one Saturday morning and you decide, I'm just gonna lay here in bed and flip on HGTV for a minute, you know that minute is gonna turn into, suddenly it's lunchtime, you're still in bed watching HGTV. This book, they are both renovators, and so you have a lot of that thrown in, and it's just addicting to read about that sort of things, just like it is to watch HGTV. So it's easy to get addicted to. It's very easy to get addicted to. That's all I got for you guys. Please check this book out. So I will put the author's website down below in the description box for you to check out. I hope you're all staying safe. I love you so much. If you enjoyed this video, look down below, hit that thumbs up, and have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you soon.